the master physician, healer of body and soul. Picture yourself walking through the Imperial Hospital of Constantinople, where master physician Iones Kantakousinos tends to patients from across the Byzantine Empire, while the scent of medicinal herbs mingles with incense as ancient Greek medical knowledge combines with Christian healing traditions to create the most advanced medical practice in the medieval world. The hospital complex occupies several buildings near the Hagia Sophia, where learned doctors practice medicine according to principles inherited from Hippocrates and Galen, while incorporating new knowledge from Islamic and Persian sources that expand therapeutic possibilities beyond classical limitations through careful observation and systematic treatment. Master Iones represents the culmination of Byzantine medical tradition, combining classical education with practical experience gained through decades of treating emperors, nobles, and common citizens who seek healing from ailments that challenge even the most skilled physicians throughout the Christian world, seeking divine intervention and human expertise. Young student Michael Paleologos observes surgical procedures while learning to diagnose diseases through careful examination of symptoms and patient history that guide treatment decisions. His education includes studying classical medical texts alongside practical training in therapeutic techniques and pharmaceutical preparation. Medicine serves both body and soul, Iones explains while examining a patient's pulse and complexion. We treat physical ailments while ministering to spiritual needs that often contribute to illness. Healing requires understanding the whole person rather than merely addressing isolated symptoms. The current challenge involves treating a mysterious plague that has appeared in the city's port district, requiring careful investigation of causes while implementing isolation procedures that prevent spread throughout the imperial capital, where thousands of lives depend on effective medical intervention. Michael learns that Byzantine medicine begins with thorough education in classical texts combined with observation of natural phenomena that affect human health. The physician must understand anatomy, physiology, and pharmacology while maintaining spiritual perspective that recognizes divine influence in all healing processes. Diagnostic techniques include examining pulse variations, urine appearance, skin color, and breathing patterns that indicate specific diseases or imbalances requiring targeted treatments. Different symptoms provide clues that experienced physicians interpret through accumulated knowledge and careful observation of patient responses. Pharmaceutical preparation utilizes herbs, minerals, and animal products according to formulas developed through centuries of medical practice, while incorporating new substances discovered through trade relationships with distant regions where different healing traditions have evolved effective treatments. Surgical procedures require understanding of anatomy and precise technique that minimizes patient trauma while achieving therapeutic objectives. Michael studies surgical instruments and methods while learning to assist during operations that demand steady hands and quick decision-making under stressful conditions. Hospital administration coordinates patient care while maintaining medical supplies and ensuring proper sanitation that prevents disease transmission within crowded medical facilities, serving diverse populations with varying health needs and social status requiring appropriate accommodation. Public health measures include monitoring disease outbreaks while implementing preventive strategies that protect urban populations from epidemic diseases that could devastate imperial authority and economic prosperity throughout Byzantine territories, where medical knowledge provides competitive advantages. Medical education follows systematic curricula that preserve classical knowledge, while incorporating contemporary discoveries through scholarly exchange with Islamic and Western European medical centers, where different approaches to healing have developed innovative solutions to common health problems. Patient care emphasizes comprehensive treatment that addresses physical symptoms while providing spiritual comfort through prayer and religious observance that supports healing processes recognized as divine gifts requiring appropriate reverence and grateful acknowledgement of supernatural intervention. Research activities include systematic observation of disease patterns, while testing therapeutic interventions that might improve treatment outcomes through careful documentation of patient responses and long-term recovery rates that guide future medical practice and pharmaceutical development. International collaboration connects Byzantine physicians with medical scholars throughout the Mediterranean world while maintaining competitive advantages that preserve Byzantine leadership in medical knowledge and therapeutic innovation, serving imperial interests and humanitarian purposes. Religious integration coordinates medical practice with Christian theology while maintaining scientific rigor that distinguishes legitimate healing from superstitious practices through rational observation and systematic treatment based on natural causes and divine blessing working through human skill. Economic considerations balance treatment costs against patient ability to pay while ensuring that medical services remain available to deserving cases regardless of financial status. Through charitable funding and imperial support for humanitarian medical care serving religious and political purposes. Cultural preservation includes maintaining classical medical traditions while adapting to contemporary needs through innovation that advances therapeutic capabilities without abandoning proven methods that have served Byzantine medicine throughout centuries of political and social change. As evening approaches Constantinople, Master Iones and Michael complete their hospital rounds while preparing medications for tomorrow's treatments that will continue their mission of healing and service to the Byzantine Empire and Christian civilization. Let these images of medical dedication carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the quiet concentration of physicians serving human needs through knowledge and compassion that bridges classical wisdom with contemporary innovation in the service of healing. Sleep peacefully now, like physicians in Byzantine hospitals long ago, knowing that patient care and systematic study can alleviate suffering while advancing human knowledge for the benefit of future generations seeking healing and hope. The master illuminated manuscript painter, creator of sacred images. Picture yourself in the scriptorium of Aachen Palace, where master painter Hieroglyphic Morris applies precious pigments to vellum pages that will preserve religious knowledge for future generations, while candlelight dances across golden letters that seem to glow with divine inspiration in the royal library of Charlemagne's successor. The manuscript workshop operates within the palace complex, where learned monks and secular scholars collaborate to create books that will educate nobility, while preserving Christian doctrine through beautiful illustrations that make sacred texts accessible to readers who appreciate visual beauty alongside spiritual wisdom. Master Urbanus combines artistic skill inherited from insular and Mediterranean traditions with innovations that create distinctive Carolingian illumination styles serving imperial court needs, while establishing artistic standards that influence manuscript production throughout Western Europe for centuries. Young apprentice Einhard studies color preparation while learning to create illuminated letters that transform simple text into artistic treasures worthy of royal libraries and noble patronage. His developing skills represent investment in cultural preservation that maintains civilization through systematic knowledge transmission. Our brushes serve divine purpose, Urbanus explains while mixing gold leaf with binding agents. Each illumination reveals God's beauty while making His word more appealing to readers who might otherwise neglect spiritual education. Art serves truth through beauty. The current project involves creating a magnificent gospel book for the imperial chapel, requiring artistic excellence that demonstrates Carolingian cultural achievement while providing liturgical text for religious ceremonies that legitimize imperial authority through divine blessing and ecclesiastical support. Einhard learns that Carolingian illumination begins with thorough understanding of theological content that guides artistic decisions about appropriate imagery and symbolic elements that enhance rather than distract from sacred meaning, while maintaining aesthetic standards worthy of imperial patronage. Manuscript preparation requires selecting finest vellum and preparing writing surfaces that accept both ink and paint without bleeding or deterioration, while providing durable foundations for artistic work that must survive centuries of liturgical use and scholarly consultation. Color theory includes understanding symbolic meanings of different hues, while mastering technical preparation of pigments from expensive materials that create brilliant colors, resistant to fading throughout extended exposure to candlelight, and handling during religious ceremonies and scholarly study. Figure drawing requires knowledge of human anatomy and religious iconography that enables creation of convincing representations of biblical characters and saints, according to established conventions that communicate spiritual meaning while demonstrating artistic skill and theological understanding. Border decoration utilizes geometric patterns and plant motifs that complement textual content while displaying artistic virtuosity through intricate designs that frame pages with beauty appropriate to sacred content, requiring reverent treatment and aesthetic enhancement. Gold application creates luminous effects that suggest divine presence while demonstrating imperial wealth and cultural sophistication through expensive materials that transform practical books into precious objects worthy of royal collections and religious veneration. Collaborative production coordinates illumination, work with scribal activities and bookbinding procedures that create integrated manufacturing systems, producing complete manuscripts according to specifications that balance artistic vision with practical requirements for liturgical and educational use. Quality standards ensure that finished manuscripts meet demanding imperial expectations, while maintaining consistency across multiple volumes that form complete sets, serving specific liturgical or educational purposes, requiring coordinated artistic and textual elements. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional techniques while incorporating innovations that advance artistic capabilities, without abandoning proven methods that have preserved knowledge. Throughout periods of political instability and cultural change, threatening intellectual continuity, educational mission extends beyond immediate court needs to include training programs that preserve illumination knowledge, while establishing scriptoriums throughout Carolingian territories where local manuscripts support religious education and cultural development in remote regions. International influence spreads Carolingian artistic standards through diplomatic gifts and cultural exchange that demonstrates imperial sophistication, while establishing artistic models that influence manuscript production throughout Western Europe, seeking cultural advancement and political legitimacy. Seasonal production cycles coordinate manuscript work with religious calendar requirements while adapting to natural light availability and material supply patterns that affect working conditions. Throughout extended production periods requiring careful planning and resource management, economic planning balances manuscript production costs against cultural and political benefits, while ensuring adequate resources for maintaining high artistic standards that preserve imperial reputation and support educational missions serving long-term dynastic interests. Innovation includes experimentation with new techniques and materials that might enhance artistic effects while maintaining traditional characteristics that define Carolingian style and ensure continued recognition of imperial manuscripts as superior to foreign products, lacking comparable artistic achievement. Religious ceremonies bless completed manuscripts, while dedicating artistic work to divine service through recognition that illumination serves spiritual purposes, transcending mere aesthetic pleasure or cultural display through creation of sacred objects worthy of liturgical use. As twilight settles over Aachen, Master Habenas and Einhard secure their precious materials, while preparing workspace for tomorrow's continuation of artistic work that preserves Christian civilization through beautiful books, serving imperial glory and divine purpose. Let these images of sacred artistry carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the careful application of golden pigments and the satisfaction of creating illuminated treasures that preserve divine wisdom through human artistic excellence. Sleep peacefully now, like manuscript painters in royal scriptoriums long ago. knowing that patient dedication to beauty and truth can create artistic treasures that inspire spiritual growth while preserving cultural heritage for countless future generations. The Master Navigator, wayfinder of ocean paths. Picture yourself on the volcanic shores of Tahiti, where Master Navigator Tehuri reads the subtle language of ocean swells and stellar movements that guide outrigger canoes across vast Pacific waters toward distant islands invisible beyond the horizon. While traditional knowledge passed through generations enables exploration of the world's largest ocean, the navigation school occupies sacred grounds, where apprentice navigators learn to interpret natural signs that reveal oceanic pathways invisible to untrained eyes. Star patterns, wave formations, and bird behavior provide navigation clues that enable voyages across thousands of miles of open water without instruments beyond human senses and accumulated wisdom. Master Tehuri represents generations of navigational knowledge, preserved through oral tradition and practical training that enables Polynesian expansion across Pacific islands, separated by vast distances that would challenge modern navigation technology through sophisticated understanding of natural phenomena and oceanic patterns. Young apprentice Kailani studies star maps carved in wood, while learning to recognize celestial patterns that change throughout seasonal cycles and geographic positions. Her training includes memorizing hundreds of stars and their relationships that provide navigation references during ocean voyages lasting weeks or months. The ocean speaks to those who listen, Tehuri explains, while demonstrating wave reading techniques. Each swell carries information about distant lands, while wind patterns reveal weather changes that affect voyage safety. We navigate through harmony with natural forces rather than opposition. The current expedition requires finding new islands beyond traditional sailing routes, using navigation skills that combine astronomical observation with wave pattern analysis, while depending on traditional canoe technology and provisioning methods that enable survival during extended ocean voyages. Kailani learns that Polynesian navigation begins with understanding cosmic relationships between celestial movements and terrestrial positions that create invisible pathways across seemingly empty ocean spaces, where traditional knowledge provides guidance unavailable through any other means. Star compass memorization includes learning positions and movements of navigation stars throughout seasonal cycles, while understanding how stellar patterns change with geographic latitude that affects celestial observation and requires plus adjustments in navigation techniques during long voyages. Wave pattern reading requires sensitivity to ocean swell directions and characteristics that indicate wind patterns and distant land masses. Through subtle changes in wave behavior that experienced navigators interpret through tactile perception and visual observation of water surface variations. Weather prediction utilizes cloud formations, wind patterns, and atmospheric signs that indicate approaching storms or favorable sailing conditions, while enabling voyage planning that avoids dangerous weather while taking advantage of optimal conditions for efficient ocean travel. Bird behavior provides navigation clues through species recognition and flight patterns that indicate proximity to land masses or fishing grounds, while offering information about wind directions and weather changes that affect voyage planning and safety. Considerations throughout extended voyages. Ocean current knowledge includes understanding seasonal variations and geographic patterns that affect canoe speed and direction, while providing additional navigation information that supplements astronomical observation and wave reading throughout complex voyage planning and execution. Canoe technology utilizes sophisticated design principles that create vessels capable of ocean voyaging, while maintaining stability and speed necessary for successful navigation across vast distances, requiring optimal performance under challenging conditions throughout extended periods at sea. Provisioning techniques enable survival during extended voyages through food preservation methods and water storage systems that sustain crews throughout weeks or months of ocean travel, while maintaining health and strength necessary for demanding navigation and sailing activities. Traditional knowledge preservation. includes oral instruction and practical training that maintains navigation wisdom, while adapting to contemporary needs through innovation that advances capabilities without abandoning proven methods that have enabled successful Pacific exploration. Seasonal navigation coordinates voyaging activities with weather patterns and oceanic conditions that optimize safety and efficiency, while ensuring adequate time for return voyages before seasonal changes create dangerous conditions or navigation difficulties. Cultural significance extends beyond practical transportation to include spiritual dimensions that view navigation as sacred knowledge connecting human communities with cosmic order and natural harmony. Through respectful partnership with oceanic and celestial forces, island discovery requires systematic exploration techniques that enable identification of new land masses, while ensuring safe return to home islands through careful documentation of navigation routes and landmarks that guide future voyages and settlement activities. Settlement planning coordinates navigation discoveries with population needs and resource requirements, while establishing new communities that maintain cultural continuity and navigation traditions throughout expanding Polynesian presence across Pacific islands. Training methods preserve navigation knowledge through apprenticeship, programs that combine theoretical instruction with practical experience, while building both technical skills and spiritual understanding necessary for responsible navigation practice serving community needs. International contact includes encounters with other island populations, while maintaining Polynesian cultural identity and navigation superiority through exchange. Relationships that benefit all participants while preserving distinctive traditions and knowledge systems. As evening stars emerge over Pacific waters, Master Tehori and Kailani review celestial observations, while preparing for tomorrow's navigation training that will advance traditional knowledge and skills, serving Polynesian exploration and cultural expansion. Let these images of oceanic navigation carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the gentle motion of outrigger canoes and the satisfaction of reading natural signs that guide voyagers across vast waters toward distant islands and new discoveries. Sleep peacefully now, like navigators on Pacific islands long ago, knowing that patient observation and traditional wisdom can unlock natural secrets that enable exploration of seemingly impossible distances while maintaining harmony with oceanic and celestial forces. The Master Herbalist, Keeper of Plant Wisdom. Picture yourself walking through misty Irish hills, where Master Herbalist Brigid Ni Connell gathers medicinal plants according to lunar cycles and seasonal timing that maximize healing potency, while ancient knowledge passed through generations of wise women preserves therapeutic wisdom that serves both physical healing and spiritual guidance. The herbalist's dwelling occupies a sacred grove where healing plants grow in careful arrangement that provides year-round supplies of medicinal materials while creating sanctuary space for preparing remedies, according to traditional methods that honor both plant spirits and human healing needs. Master Brigid represents centuries of Celtic healing tradition that combines botanical knowledge with spiritual understanding of plant consciousness and therapeutic relationships between human ailments and natural remedies discovered through careful observation and intuitive communication with plant teachers. Young apprentice Shaban learns to identify healing plants while understanding their energetic properties and appropriate harvesting methods that preserve plant vitality and therapeutic effectiveness. Her education includes studying both physical and spiritual aspects of herbal medicine according to Celtic tradition. Plants choose their healers, Brigid explains while gathering elderflowers at dawn. We must approach each remedy with respect and gratitude, while understanding that healing flows through partnership between human intention and plant wisdom that transcends mere chemical analysis. The current healing challenge involves treating a mysterious wasting disease affecting several villagers, requiring careful diagnosis and preparation of complex herbal formulas that address both physical symptoms and spiritual imbalances that often contribute to serious illness. Shaban learns that Celtic herbalism begins with understanding plant relationships and seasonal energies that affect therapeutic potency, while recognizing that effective healing requires treating underlying causes rather than merely suppressing symptoms through pharmaceutical intervention. Plant identification requires knowledge of botanical characteristics and habitat preferences, while understanding how geographic location and seasonal timing affect medicinal quality and appropriate harvesting methods that ensure both therapeutic effectiveness and sustainable plant populations. Harvesting techniques follow traditional protocols that honor plant spirits, while maximizing therapeutic potency through optimal timing and methods that preserve medicinal properties. Throughout processing and storage procedures, maintaining remedy effectiveness over extended periods. Preparation methods include various extraction techniques that concentrate therapeutic compounds while preserving energetic properties that contribute to healing effectiveness through traditional processes that maintain plant wisdom alongside chemical constituents. Diagnostic skills enable recognition of illness patterns and underlying imbalances that guide remedy selection, while understanding constitutional differences that require individualized treatment approaches rather than standardized pharmaceutical protocols. Ignoring personal variations, therapeutic applications utilize multiple treatment modalities, including internal remedies, external applications, and energetic healing techniques that address illness comprehensively while supporting natural healing processes through gentle intervention and nutritional support. Spiritual healing recognizes connections between physical symptoms and emotional or spiritual imbalances that require treatment, addressing whole person needs rather than isolated physical complaints through integrated approaches that honor mind-body-spirit relationships. Seasonal medicine adapts treatment approaches to natural cycles that affect both plant availability and human health patterns, while understanding how environmental changes influence therapeutic needs and remedy effectiveness throughout annual cycles. Traditional knowledge preservation includes oral instruction and practical training that maintains herbal wisdom while adapting to contemporary needs through innovation that advances therapeutic capabilities without abandoning proven methods. Serving Celtic healing tradition. Community service extends healing knowledge throughout local populations, while training other healers who will serve remote areas where professional medical care remains unavailable. Through establishment of healing networks that preserve traditional knowledge, religious integration coordinates herbal practice with Celtic spiritual traditions, while maintaining respect for plant consciousness and natural harmony that views healing as sacred work, requiring appropriate ritual observance and spiritual preparation. Quality control ensures remedy effectiveness through systematic testing and observation of treatment outcomes, while maintaining standards that preserve reputation for healing, excellence, and therapeutic reliability, serving community health needs. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional healing methods while documenting plant knowledge and therapeutic applications that will survive cultural changes and enable continued access to Celtic healing wisdom for future generations. International exchange includes contact with monastic communities where Celtic healing knowledge encounters Christian traditions, while maintaining distinctive characteristics that preserve indigenous wisdom alongside imported medical knowledge. As evening mist rises from Irish meadows, Master Brigid and Shaban complete their plant gathering while preparing remedies that will serve community healing needs through application of ancient wisdom preserved in Celtic tradition. Let these images of herbal healing carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the gentle gathering of medicinal plants and the satisfaction of preparing remedies that serve both physical healing and spiritual restoration through traditional wisdom. Sleep peacefully now, like herbalists in Celtic lands long ago, knowing that patient observation and respectful partnership with plant wisdom can provide healing solutions that serve human needs while maintaining harmony with natural systems. The Master Mapmaker, chronicler of known worlds. Picture yourself in the scholarly halls of Cordoba, where Master Cartographer Muhammad al-Idrisi creates the most accurate maps of the medieval world, while translating geographical knowledge from Greek, Arabic, and Latin sources that advance human understanding of Earth's true dimensions and enable more effective navigation and exploration. The cartography workshop occupies chambers within the library complex, where scholars from diverse backgrounds collaborate to synthesize geographical knowledge from multiple traditions, while creating new maps that surpass all previous achievements in accuracy and comprehensive coverage of known lands and seas. Master illiteracy combines mathematical precision with artistic beauty, while incorporating information from travelers, merchants, and explorers who provide eyewitness accounts of distant regions that enable correction of ancient errors and expansion of geographical knowledge beyond classical limitations. Young student Ibn Rushd studies mathematical techniques while learning to project curved Earth surfaces onto flat maps through geometric methods that minimize distortion, while maintaining proportional accuracy necessary for practical navigation and territorial administration throughout Islamic and Christian territories. Maps preserve human knowledge of divine creation, Al-Idrisi explains, while calculating distances between cities. We serve as guardians of geographical wisdom, while advancing understanding through systematic observation and mathematical analysis that reveals Earth's true structure and beauty. The current project involves creating a comprehensive world map for King Roger II of Sicily, requiring integration of information from multiple sources, while maintaining accuracy standards that will establish this map as the authoritative geographical reference for navigation and political planning. Ibn Rushd learns that Islamic cartography begins with mathematical foundations, including trigonometry and spherical geometry that enable accurate representation of terrestrial features, while incorporating astronomical observations that provide precise coordinate systems for global mapping. Source evaluation requires critical analysis of travel accounts and earlier maps, while distinguishing reliable information from exaggerated tales that could mislead future travelers and administrators depending on geographical accuracy for practical and political decision-making. Mathematical techniques include projection methods that translate three-dimensional geography onto two-dimensional surfaces, while minimizing distortion through innovative approaches that advance cartographic science beyond classical achievements in geographical representation. Field research involves corresponding with travelers and merchants who provide detailed descriptions of routes, cities, and natural features while maintaining networks of informants throughout the Mediterranean world and beyond, where geographical knowledge originates. Cultural synthesis combines geographical knowledge from Greek, Arabic, Persian, and Latin sources, while recognizing valuable contributions from different traditions that advance understanding through collaborative scholarship, transcending religious and ethnic boundaries. Artistic standards create maps that combine scientific accuracy with visual appeal through decorative elements and clear presentation that make geographical information accessible to educated users, requiring both practical utility and aesthetic satisfaction. Political applications include boundary demarcation and territorial representation that serves administrative needs, while providing strategic information for military planning and diplomatic negotiations requiring accurate geographical knowledge for effective governance. Commercial applications support trade route planning and market analysis, while enabling merchants to optimize transportation and identify profitable opportunities throughout diverse geographical regions where accurate maps provide competitive advantages. Navigation aids include coastal charts and route descriptions that enable safer sea travel while reducing risks associated with oceanic voyages and territorial exploration, requiring reliable geographical information for successful completion. Religious geography documents pilgrimage routes and sacred sites, while incorporating theological perspectives that view geographical knowledge as revelation of divine creation, worthy of scholarly study and careful preservation for spiritual and educational purposes. Scientific methodology includes systematic data collection and verification procedures that ensure map accuracy while establishing standards for geographical scholarship that advance cartographic science through rigorous observation and mathematical analysis. International collaboration connects Islamic scholars with Christian and Jewish colleagues while maintaining scholarly standards that transcend religious differences through shared commitment to advancing geographical knowledge, serving universal human needs. Educational mission includes training programs that preserve cartographic knowledge, while establishing mapping centers throughout Islamic territories where local scholars contribute to geographical advancement and cultural preservation through systematic geographical documentation. As evening call to prayer echoes across Cordoba, Master al-Idrisi and Ibn Rushd complete their daily cartographic work while reviewing calculations that will advance the great world map, serving both practical navigation and scholarly understanding. Let these images of geographical scholarship carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the precise calculation of distances and the satisfaction of creating maps that guide travelers while advancing human knowledge of Earth's magnificent diversity. Sleep peacefully now, like cartographers in Islamic libraries long ago, knowing that patient scholarship and mathematical precision can reveal geographical truths that serve practical needs, while advancing understanding of divine creation. The master bone carver, artist of sacred totems. Picture yourself in the vast Arctic landscape where master bone carver Naka shapes walrus, ivory, and whalebone into sacred objects that honor animal spirits, while providing practical tools that enable survival in the harshest environment on Earth, where traditional knowledge and spiritual wisdom guide human adaptation to extreme conditions. The bone carving workshop occupies an icehouse where oil lamps provide warmth and light for detailed work that transforms animal remains into spiritual objects, honoring the creatures whose sacrifice enables human survival through respectful use of every part of harvested animals. Master Naka represents generations of carving tradition that combines artistic skill with spiritual understanding of animal relationships and ceremonial requirements that govern respectful interaction between human communities and Arctic wildlife, providing sustenance and materials for survival. Young apprentice Saiku learns to read bone, grain, and ivory characteristics while understanding spiritual protocols that govern carving activities, honoring animal spirits and ensuring continued hunting success. Through proper respect for natural relationships and ceremonial obligations, every carving carries spirit, Naka explains while shaping a seal hunting charm. We honor our animal brothers through beautiful objects that preserve their essence while serving human needs. Art connects us with spirit world through respectful partnership. The current project involves creating ceremonial masks for winter solstice rituals that will ensure successful hunting season while honoring animal spirits and maintaining cosmic harmony between human communities and Arctic wildlife, providing life in harsh conditions. Seiku learns that Inuit carving begins with understanding animal anatomy and spiritual significance, while recognizing that effective carving requires both technical skill and spiritual preparation, honoring relationships between carvers, materials, and intended spiritual purposes. Material preparation includes careful cleaning and treatment of bones and ivory, while understanding how different animal parts provide materials suited for various carving applications, requiring specific characteristics for functional and ceremonial objects. Tool creation utilizes traditional materials, including sharp stones and metal, acquired through trade, while maintaining tools that enable precise carving work under challenging Arctic conditions, where equipment reliability affects survival and artistic achievement. Carving techniques follow traditional methods that work with natural material characteristics while creating forms that honor animal spirits and serve human needs. Through objects that combine practical utility with spiritual significance and artistic beauty, spiritual protocols govern carving activities. Through ceremonies that honor animal spirits while ensuring proper relationships between human, artisans, and spiritual forces that enable successful hunting and community survival throughout challenging Arctic seasons. Ceremonial applications include masks, amulets, and ritual objects that serve spiritual purposes, while connecting human communities with animal spirits and natural forces that govern Arctic survival through traditional religious practices and seasonal ceremonies. Practical applications create tools and implements that enable Arctic survival while incorporating artistic elements that honor animal spirits and demonstrate respect for natural relationships that sustain human life in extreme environmental conditions. Traditional knowledge preservation includes oral instruction and practical training that maintains carving wisdom while adapting to contemporary needs through innovation that advances artistic capabilities without abandoning spiritual foundations. Community service includes creating objects for ceremonial use while training other carvers who will serve community needs through production of spiritual and practical objects essential for Arctic survival and cultural continuity. Seasonal activities adapt carving work to natural cycles and material availability, while coordinating with hunting seasons and ceremonial requirements that influence demand for specific types of carved objects throughout Arctic annual cycles. Spiritual significance extends beyond artistic achievement to include communication with animal spirits and natural forces that govern Arctic survival through respectful partnership maintained through appropriate carving practices and ceremonial observances. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional carving methods, while documenting artistic knowledge and spiritual practices that will survive cultural changes and enable continued access to Inuit artistic wisdom for future generations. Trade relationships enable acquisition of materials and tools, while establishing connections with other Arctic communities that share carving traditions and ceremonial practices, serving mutual cultural enrichment and practical cooperation. Northern lights dance across Arctic sky. Master Nuka and Saiku complete their ceremonial preparations while honoring animal spirits whose sacrifice enables human survival through respectful artistic transformation of remains into sacred objects. Let these images of Arctic artistry carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the patient carving of ivory and the satisfaction of creating sacred objects that honor animal spirits while serving human needs in Earth's most challenging environment. Sleep peacefully now, like bone carvers in Arctic shelters long ago, knowing that respectful artistry and spiritual wisdom can transform natural materials into sacred treasures that preserve cultural heritage while honoring relationships with animal spirits. The Master Tea Ceremony Host, Keeper of Harmony and Peace. Picture yourself in the serene tea pavilion of Master Lu Yu overlooking West Lake in Hangzhou, where the ancient art of tea preparation creates moments of perfect harmony between host and guests, while ceramic vessels and carefully controlled water temperature transform simple leaves into liquid meditation that soothes both body and spirit. The tea house occupies a garden setting designed to enhance contemplative appreciation of natural beauty, while providing appropriate environment for ceremonial tea service that embodies Confucian principles of harmony, respect, and social refinement. Through artistic presentation and mindful participation, Master Lu Yu represents the culmination of Chinese tea culture that combines practical knowledge of tea preparation with philosophical understanding of ceremony's role in maintaining social harmony and personal cultivation through mindful attention to aesthetic details and respectful human interaction. Young student Wang Ming learns to recognize tea quality while understanding ceremonial protocols that govern proper tea service, honoring both guests and tea tradition through careful attention to timing, temperature, and presentation that demonstrate respect and cultural refinement. Tea ceremony reveals inner nature, Lu Yu explains while warming ceramic vessels. Through careful attention to simple activities, we cultivate mindfulness and express respect for others while creating moments of peace that refresh spirit and strengthen social harmony. The current gathering includes scholars and government officials who seek relaxation from administrative duties while engaging in literary discussion enhanced by tea's calming influence that promotes thoughtful conversation and mutual understanding among educated participants. Wang Ming learns that Chinese tea ceremony begins with understanding tea characteristics and optimal preparation methods, while recognizing that successful service requires attention to guests' needs and preferences. Alongside technical mastery of brewing techniques and ceremonial protocols, tea selection requires knowledge of different varieties and processing methods that create distinct flavors and characteristics, while understanding how seasonal timing and storage conditions affect tea quality and appropriate brewing methods for optimal taste and therapeutic benefits. Water preparation includes selecting appropriate sources and heating methods that enhance tea flavor while understanding how water quality and temperature affect extraction of desirable compounds that create satisfying tea experience for participants in ceremonial gatherings. Vessel selection utilizes ceramic pieces chosen for both functional and aesthetic qualities that enhance tea presentation, while demonstrating hosts' cultural refinement and respect for traditional craftsmanship that serves ceremonial purposes through beautiful and practical design. Brewing techniques require precise timing and temperature control that extract optimal flavor while avoiding bitterness or other undesirable characteristics that could diminish guests' enjoyment and appreciation of tea ceremony as cultural and spiritual experience. Service protocols govern proper presentation and guest interaction, while creating atmosphere of respect and harmony that enables meaningful conversation and social connection. Enhanced by tea's calming influence on human interaction and mental clarity. Aesthetic appreciation includes understanding visual elements of ceremony, including vessel arrangement and garden setting, that contribute to overall experience through harmonious integration of natural beauty and human artistry, serving contemplative purposes. Philosophical dimensions recognize tea ceremony as expression of Confucian values, including respect for elders, attention to social harmony, and cultivation of personal refinement, through mindful participation in traditional cultural practices that strengthen community bonds. Literary discussion utilizes tea gatherings as opportunities for scholarly exchange, while creating relaxed atmosphere that encourages thoughtful conversation about poetry, philosophy, and cultural topics that benefit from contemplative consideration, enhanced by tea ceremony setting. Social networking enables relationship building among educated elites, while maintaining appropriate protocols that demonstrate cultural sophistication and mutual respect through participation in refined activities that strengthen professional and personal connections. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional tea ceremony methods while training students who will continue cultural practices that serve important social functions while preserving aesthetic and philosophical dimensions of Chinese tea culture. Seasonal adaptation modifies ceremony elements according to natural cycles and weather conditions, while coordinating with agricultural rhythms and social calendars that influence appropriate timing for tea gatherings and ceremonial activities. Economic aspects include understanding tea trade and quality assessment that ensure access to superior materials while supporting tea production industries that provide livelihoods for thousands of farmers and merchants throughout Chinese tea-producing regions. Health benefits recognize tea's therapeutic properties while understanding how different varieties and preparation methods affect physical and mental well-being through compounds that promote relaxation and mental clarity, supporting overall health and longevity. As afternoon sunlight filters through bamboo screens, Master Lu, Yu, and Wang Ming complete their tea ceremony while appreciating moments of harmony and peace that demonstrate Chinese cultural achievement through simple yet profound artistic expression. Let these images of tea ceremony carry you toward peaceful rest. imagining the gentle movements of ceremonial service and the satisfaction of creating moments of harmony that refresh spirit while honoring cultural tradition. Sleep peacefully now, like tea masters in Chinese pavilions long ago, knowing that mindful attention to simple activities can create profound experiences that nourish both individual spirit and social harmony through respectful cultural practice. The master siege engineer, builder of war machines, picture yourself on the steps outside Kiev, where master engineer Jeeb designs and constructs siege weapons that will breach the city's walls, while Mongol ingenuity combines with captured Chinese technology to create devastating military innovations that enable rapid conquest of fortified positions throughout the expanding empire. The siege camp extends across vast areas where workshops produce catapults, trebuchets, and other machines of war, while engineers coordinate construction activities that transform nomadic military traditions into systematic approaches for conquering heavily fortified cities that resist Mongol expansion. Master Jeeb represents the synthesis of steppe warfare traditions with engineering knowledge acquired through conquest of Chinese and Islamic territories, where advanced siege techniques enabled Mongol forces to overcome defensive advantages that previously protected sedentary civilizations from nomadic invasion. Young apprentice Subutai studies mechanical principles while learning to calculate trajectory and force requirements that enable accurate projectile weapons capable of breaching walls and destroying defensive structures that protect enemy cities from Mongol cavalry attacks. Walls cannot stop determined minds, Jeb explains while adjusting counterweight systems. We adapt enemy techniques while adding Mongol innovation that creates superior weapons, serving our expansion across all lands where cities dare resist the Great Khan's authority. The current siege requires innovative approaches to overcome Kiev's massive fortifications while coordinating diverse siege weapons and tactical elements that will enable rapid conquest without excessive casualties that could weaken Mongol forces needed for continuing campaigns. Subutai learns that Mongol siege warfare begins with reconnaissance and planning that identifies defensive weaknesses, while organizing construction activities that produce appropriate weapons for specific tactical situations, requiring different engineering solutions and resource allocation. Weapon design utilizes mathematical principles, including leverage calculations and projectile physics that enable accurate targeting while maximizing destructive impact through optimal engineering that surpasses enemy defensive capabilities and construction standards. Material acquisition includes organized collection of timber, metal, and stone, while coordinating with supply networks that provide construction materials throughout extended siege operations requiring sustained engineering activities and weapon maintenance. Construction techniques combine Mongol efficiency with acquired engineering knowledge while adapting foreign designs. Two nomadic requirements that emphasize portability and rapid assembly during mobile campaigns requiring flexible approaches to siege warfare. Tactical coordination integrates siege weapons with cavalry operations, while planning systematic approaches that exploit defensive weaknesses through combined arms tactics that utilize both engineering solutions and traditional Mongol military strengths. Technology transfer includes incorporating captured engineers and acquired technical knowledge, while adapting foreign innovations to Mongol needs. Through systematic evaluation of new techniques and their potential applications in nomadic warfare traditions, quality control ensures weapon reliability and accuracy while maintaining construction standards that prevent failures. During critical siege operations, where equipment effectiveness determines success or failure of military campaigns, serving imperial expansion, innovation drives continuous improvement in siege techniques while combining traditional Mongol adaptability with acquired technical knowledge that creates superior military capabilities, surpassing both nomadic and sedentary warfare traditions. Logistical coordination manages complex supply requirements while organizing transportation and maintenance activities that sustain siege operations throughout extended campaigns, requiring systematic resource management and strategic planning. Cultural adaptation enables successful integration of foreign technical knowledge while maintaining Mongol military culture and command structures that preserve nomadic advantages while incorporating sedentary technical achievements. Training programs preserve siege engineering knowledge while preparing engineers for diverse challenges throughout expanding Mongol territories where different defensive traditions require adaptive engineering solutions and tactical innovations. Economic considerations balance siege costs against conquest benefits, while ensuring that military investments provide adequate returns through territorial expansion and tribute collection that finances continued imperial growth and consolidation. International impact spreads Mongol siege techniques throughout conquered territories while establishing engineering standards that influence military technology development across Eurasian civilizations encountered during imperial expansion. As evening settles over the siege camp, Master Jiban Sebatai review weapon performance while planning tomorrow's bombardment that will advance the siege toward successful conquest, serving Mongol imperial ambitions. Let these images of military engineering carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the precise calculation of siege mechanics and the satisfaction of solving complex technical problems that serve strategic objectives through innovative engineering solutions. Sleep peacefully now, like engineers in Mongol camps long ago, knowing that technical innovation and adaptive thinking can overcome seemingly impossible challenges while advancing human capabilities through systematic problem solving and engineering excellence. The master scribe and scholar, guardian of divine law, picture yourself in the house of wisdom in Baghdad, where master scholar Ibn Sina preserves and advances Islamic legal knowledge while translating Greek philosophical works that synthesize Aristotelian logic with Islamic theology, creating comprehensive legal frameworks that govern spiritual and temporal life throughout the vast Abbasid Empire. The scholarly complex occupies multiple buildings where hundreds of learned men study religious law, philosophy, and natural sciences while maintaining libraries that preserve knowledge from diverse civilizations united under Islamic rule through conquest and cultural synthesis. Master Ibn Sina represents the intellectual achievement of Islamic civilization that combines rigorous legal scholarship with philosophical inquiry that advances human understanding while serving practical needs of Islamic governance and spiritual guidance throughout diverse populations seeking religious and legal direction. Young student Al-Farizi studies legal precedents while learning to apply Quranic principles and prophetic traditions to contemporary challenges that require scholarly interpretation and legal reasoning, guided by divine revelation and accumulated scholarly wisdom preserved through centuries of Islamic scholarship. Knowledge serves divine purpose, Ibn Sina explains, while examining legal manuscripts. We preserve and advance understanding of God's law, while applying eternal principles to changing circumstances that require scholarly interpretation guided by wisdom and divine inspiration. The current legal challenge involves developing commercial law that governs international trade while ensuring compliance with Islamic principles that prohibit usury and exploitation while enabling economic prosperity. Throughout the Caliphate's diverse commercial networks, Al-Farisi learns that Islamic scholarship begins with mastery of Arabic language and Quranic studies while developing reasoning skills that enable interpretation of divine law and application of legal principles to practical situations requiring scholarly judgment and spiritual guidance. Legal methodology includes systematic analysis of Quranic verses and prophetic traditions while utilizing logical reasoning that distinguishes valid legal arguments from unsupported opinions through rigorous scholarly procedures that ensure intellectual integrity and religious correctness. Manuscript preservation includes copying and maintaining legal texts, while ensuring accurate transmission of scholarly knowledge through careful scribal work that preserves intellectual heritage and enables continued legal development serving Islamic civilization. Translation activities preserve Greek philosophical works while adapting foreign knowledge to Islamic perspectives that integrate rational inquiry with religious truth through scholarly synthesis that advances understanding without compromising religious foundations. Judicial training prepares legal scholars for court service while developing expertise in legal reasoning and case analysis that enables fair administration of Islamic law throughout diverse populations requiring consistent application of religious principles. International correspondence connects Baghdad scholars with legal experts throughout the Islamic world, while maintaining scholarly networks that advance legal knowledge through collaborative research and intellectual exchange serving universal Islamic interests. Educational programs train legal scholars while preserving scholarly traditions through systematic instruction that combines theoretical knowledge with practical application, serving both individual development and community needs throughout Islamic territories. Cultural synthesis integrates legal traditions from conquered territories while maintaining Islamic principles that guide adaptation of foreign customs and legal practices to religious requirements, ensuring cultural coherence and spiritual authenticity. Economic applications include commercial law development, while ensuring religious compliance in trade practices and financial transactions that enable economic prosperity, without violating Islamic principles governing ethical business conduct. As evening call to prayer echoes across Baghdad, Master Ibn Sina and Al-Farisi complete their scholarly work while preparing for tomorrow's continuation of legal studies that serve both intellectual advancement and practical governance needs. Let these images of Islamic scholarship carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the patient copying of legal texts and the satisfaction of advancing divine knowledge through human intellectual effort, serving religious and practical purposes. Sleep peacefully now, like scholars in Islamic libraries long ago, knowing that dedicated learning and careful reasoning can advance understanding of divine law, while serving human needs through scholarly excellence and spiritual devotion. The master metalworker, forger of Damascus steel. Picture yourself in the workshops of Damascus, where master blacksmith Yusuf al-Damashqi forges the legendary steel that bears the city's name, while centuries of metallurgical knowledge combine with closely guarded techniques to create blades that surpass all other weapons in sharpness and durability throughout the medieval world. The metalworking quarter fills with the sound of hammers and the glow of forges, where skilled craftsmen work with imported steel ingots that contain the special characteristics necessary for creating Damascus steel through secret processes that remain mysterious even to contemporary smiths attempting to duplicate Syrian achievements. Master Yusuf represents generations of metallurgical expertise that transforms raw woods steel from India into finished weapons that demonstrate Islamic technological superiority while serving both military needs and commercial opportunities. In markets throughout the Crusader period, young apprentice Hakim studies metal heating while learning to recognize the subtle color changes and surface patterns that indicate proper working temperature for Damascus steel forging, requiring precise timing and temperature control that determines final blade quality and cutting performance. Steel holds memory of fire, Yusuf explains while examining cooling patterns. Each blade remembers how it was forged while revealing its inner structure through patterns that distinguish true Damascus steel from inferior imitations lacking proper technique and materials. The current commission requires creating a ceremonial sword for Saladin's court that will demonstrate Islamic craftsmanship while serving as diplomatic gift, showcasing technological achievement that surpasses Crusader weapons and European metallurgy through superior techniques and materials. Hakim learns that Damascus steel production begins with selecting proper raw materials and understanding metallurgical principles that govern steel composition and heat treatment, while recognizing that successful forging requires both technical knowledge and practical experience gained through years of training. Heat treatment involves precise temperature control during forging and cooling cycles that develop characteristic Damascus patterns, while creating optimal blade hardness and flexibility through complex metallurgical processes that distinguish Damascus steel from other weapons. Pattern development creates the distinctive watered appearance that identifies genuine Damascus steel while serving as visual proof of proper metallurgical technique and material quality that enables superior cutting performance and blade durability. Finishing techniques include polishing and etching procedures that reveal internal structure while enhancing visual beauty, through surface treatments that demonstrate smithing skill and artistic sensitivity, serving both functional and aesthetic purposes. Quality testing verifies blade performance through cutting trials that demonstrate sharpness and durability, while ensuring weapons meet demanding standards for military use and commercial reputation that maintains Damascus steel's legendary status. Trade relationships enable acquisition of raw materials while establishing commercial networks that distribute finished weapons throughout Mediterranean markets, seeking superior arms that provide military advantages in combat situations. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional techniques while training new smiths who will continue Damascus steel production, serving both military needs and cultural heritage. Preservation throughout political changes affecting Syrian territories. Military applications provide weapons for Islamic forces, while demonstrating technological superiority that contributes to military success and cultural prestige throughout conflicts with Crusader states and other foreign powers. International recognition establishes Damascus steel as premium weapon material while creating diplomatic opportunities through gift exchange and commercial relationships that benefit Islamic technological advancement and political influence. Innovation includes experimentation with forging techniques while maintaining traditional characteristics that define Damascus steel and ensure continued reputation for excellence in metallurgy and weapon production, serving Islamic civilization. As sunset colors Damascus sky, Master Yusuf and Hakim complete their forging work while cooling blades that will soon demonstrate Islamic metallurgical achievement through superior performance and distinctive beauty, serving both practical and cultural purposes. Let these images of steel forging carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the rhythmic hammering of metal and the satisfaction of creating weapons that embody technological excellence while preserving cultural traditions through skilled craftsmanship. Sleep peacefully now, like metalworkers in Damascus workshops long ago, knowing that patient skill and traditional knowledge can create steel treasures that demonstrate human capability, while serving practical needs through technological mastery and cultural preservation. The master featherworker, creator of divine plumes. Picture yourself in the great market of Tenochtitlan, where master featherworker Itzel Quetzal transforms brilliant Quetzal plumes and tropical bird feathers into sacred regalia that adorns Aztec nobility, while the floating city's canals reflect morning sunlight as skilled artisans create ceremonial objects that connect earthly rulers with divine powers governing the fifth sun. The Featherwork Guild occupies specialized workshops on the island capital, where generations of artisans have perfected techniques for creating intricate mosaics from precious feathers that surpass gold in value, while serving religious and political purposes that legitimize imperial authority through divine symbols and supernatural beauty. Master Itzel represents the pinnacle of Mesoamerican artistic achievement, combining technical mastery inherited from Toltec traditions with innovations that create unprecedented beauty in ceremonial objects, serving Aztec religious ceremonies and court functions that demonstrate imperial power and divine favor throughout the expanding empire. Young apprentice Saitali learns to sort feathers by color and quality, while understanding spiritual protocols that govern handling of sacred materials, requiring purification rituals and appropriate reverence for bird spirits, whose sacrifice enables creation of objects connecting human rulers with divine forces. Feathers carry sky essence, Itzel explains, while arranging iridescent plumes. Each bird offers its beauty for sacred purpose, while we serve as instruments transforming natural gifts into divine symbols that enable communication between earthly emperors and celestial powers, governing cosmic order. The current commission involves creating ceremonial costume for Emperor Axiochittl's coronation, requiring unprecedented artistic excellence that will demonstrate Aztec cultural achievement while establishing visual symbols of imperial authority that connect temporal power with divine mandate governing the universe. Sightlaw learns that Aztec featherwork begins with understanding bird symbolism and seasonal availability, while recognizing that successful artistry requires both technical skill and spiritual preparation, honoring relationships between artisans, materials, and intended ceremonial purposes. Bird procurement involves trading networks extending throughout Mesoamerica, where tropical species provide precious feathers, through tribute systems and commercial exchange that supply workshops with materials unavailable in highland Mexico, but essential for creating objects worthy of imperial use. Feather preparation includes cleaning and sorting procedures that preserve natural beauty while organizing materials according to color gradations and quality standards that determine appropriate uses in various artistic applications, requiring different characteristics and symbolic meanings. Adhesive techniques utilize traditional materials, including plant resins and natural fibers, that create permanent bonds between feathers and backing materials, while maintaining flexibility necessary for ceremonial garments that must endure ritual use without structural failure. Design development follows established iconographic traditions, while incorporating artistic innovations that enhance visual impact without violating religious conventions governing sacred imagery and symbolic programs that communicate specific spiritual and political meanings. Color symbolism carries theological significance that informed viewers recognize immediately, with specific hues representing particular deities and cosmic forces, while conveying political messages about imperial authority and divine relationships, governing Aztec understanding of universal structure. Pattern creation utilizes mathematical principles underlying Mesoamerican art while achieving visual harmony through proportional relationships and geometric arrangements that reflect cosmic order and divine beauty manifest in earthly artistic achievement. Quality control ensures that finished objects meet demanding imperial standards through systematic inspection procedures that verify both technical excellence and spiritual appropriateness for ceremonial use in sacred contexts where imperfection could compromise religious effectiveness. Religious ceremonies bless featherwork production, while dedicating artistic activities to appropriate deities through offerings and ritual observances that ensure divine approval for transformation processes that must honor both technical excellence and spiritual requirements. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional techniques while training future artisans who will continue featherwork traditions, serving essential roles in Aztec religious and political life, while preserving artistic knowledge that distinguishes Mesoamerican civilization. Trade relationships enable acquisition of exotic materials, while establishing diplomatic connections that extend Aztec influence through exchange of artistic treasures, demonstrating imperial wealth and cultural sophistication to foreign rulers and tributary populations. Seasonal production cycles coordinate featherwork activities with religious calendar requirements while adapting to natural cycles affecting bird availability and ceremonial needs. Throughout the Aztec year of festivals and political celebrations, workshop organization enables multiple projects to proceed simultaneously while maintaining security necessary for handling precious materials and preserving artistic secrets that contribute to Aztec cultural superiority and ceremonial magnificence. Innovation within tradition allows gradual improvement of featherwork techniques while maintaining essential characteristics that preserve spiritual effectiveness and ceremonial appropriateness of objects. serving established religious functions within conservative Aztec religious traditions. Economic considerations balance material costs against cultural and political benefits, while ensuring adequate compensation for skilled artisans, whose expertise represents substantial cultural capital, benefiting Aztec society through superior ceremonial objects and cultural preservation. As evening falls across the floating city, Master Eitzel and Saitali complete their daily offerings to the feathered serpent while securing precious materials against damage that could compromise tomorrow's continuation of sacred work, serving imperial glory. Let these images of featherwork artistry carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the careful arrangement of brilliant plumes and the satisfaction of creating objects that bridge earthly beauty with divine splendor through traditional craftsmanship, serving sacred purposes. Sleep peacefully now, like featherworkers in Aztec workshops long ago, knowing that patient skill and spiritual devotion can transform natural gifts into ceremonial treasures that honor both artistic tradition and divine authority. The Master Rune Carver, keeper of sacred scripts. Picture yourself on the windswept shores of Iceland, where Master Rune Carver, Sigurd Thorson, inscribes ancient symbols into standing stones that will preserve legal agreements and honor fallen warriors, while the harsh northern landscape echoes with the sound of chisel on stone, creating permanent records in an oral culture seeking lasting monuments. The runic workshop occupies a sheltered valley where skilled craftsmen carve memorial stones and boundary markers that serve both practical and spiritual purposes in Norse society, while preserving legal and cultural information through symbolic writing systems that connect contemporary Iceland with ancient traditions. Master Sigurd represents generations of carving knowledge, combined with scholarly understanding of runic symbolism and legal traditions that enable creation of inscriptions, serving multiple purposes from property boundaries through memorial tributes to magical protections and religious invocations. Young apprentice Erik Eriksson studies runic alphabets while learning to cut clean letters that will endure centuries of weather exposure, while conveying precise legal and commemorative information according to established conventions governing Norse inscriptional practices and symbolic communication. Runes hold power beyond mere words, Sigurd explains while planning a memorial inscription. Each symbol carries ancestral wisdom while preserving important information for future generations, who will read our stones and understand their obligations to law and memory. The current project involves creating a large memorial stone commemorating Thorstein the Bold's heroic death in Greenland, while establishing legal claims to his property and ensuring his name survives in permanent form that will inspire future generations of Norse settlers. Erik learns that runic carving begins with understanding alphabetic systems and spelling conventions, while recognizing that effective inscription requires knowledge of legal formulas and poetic traditions that govern appropriate language for different types of memorial and boundary stones. Stone selection requires understanding of geological properties that determine durability and workability, while choosing materials that will survive harsh northern weather without splitting or deteriorating over centuries of exposure to wind, rain, and frost cycles. Cutting techniques utilize traditional tools, including iron chisels and hammers, that enable precise letter formation while maintaining consistent depth and spacing that creates readable inscriptions capable of conveying information clearly to future readers. Understanding runic conventions. Layout planning includes calculating available space and organizing text to accommodate both required information and decorative elements, while ensuring proportional relationships that create visually appealing inscriptions, serving both practical and aesthetic purposes. Legal formulas follow established conventions that ensure inscriptions convey precise information about property ownership, inheritance rights, and legal obligations, while utilizing traditional language that prevents misinterpretation of important legal and ceremonial information. Memorial conventions include appropriate language for honoring deceased while conveying information about achievements and family. Relationships that preserve social memory and establish examples for future generations seeking guidance about proper behavior and heroic ideals. Religious applications include protective formulas and divine invocations that ensure spiritual blessing for inscribed locations, while warding off harmful influences through traditional magical practices that supplement Christian teachings in syncretic Norse spiritual traditions. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional carving techniques while documenting legal and historical information that preserves Norse cultural memory through permanent inscriptions that will survive political changes and cultural transitions affecting Icelandic society. Boundary marking serves practical purposes in property disputes, while establishing permanent records that prevent conflicts over land ownership and usage rights throughout periods when oral traditions might fail to preserve accurate information about territorial boundaries. Artistic elements include decorative borders and symbolic imagery that enhance inscription beauty while conveying additional information through visual symbolism that supplements textual content and demonstrates carver skill and cultural sophistication. Quality standards ensure that inscriptions remain readable throughout extended periods while meeting demanding requirements for legal validity and cultural appropriateness that preserve Norse traditions and serve contemporary practical needs. Seasonal activities adapt carving work to weather conditions while coordinating with legal assemblies and memorial ceremonies that require completed stones. According to traditional schedules governing Norse social and religious calendars, guild traditions preserve carving knowledge, while maintaining professional standards that ensure inscription quality and cultural authenticity, serving both individual clients and broader community needs for legal documentation and cultural preservation. Innovation includes adaptation of traditional techniques to contemporary needs, while maintaining essential characteristics that preserve cultural authenticity and ensure continued recognition of Norse inscriptional traditions by literate community members. Educational responsibilities include training future carvers while preserving runic knowledge that might otherwise disappear through cultural changes and foreign influences, affecting traditional Norse literacy and symbolic communication systems. As northern lights illuminate the Icelandic sky, Master Sigurd and Eric complete their daily carving while reviewing memorial inscriptions that will preserve Norse culture and legal traditions for countless future generations, seeking connection with ancestral wisdom. Let these images of runic carving carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the steady sound of chisel on stone and the satisfaction of creating permanent records that preserve cultural memory while serving practical legal and ceremonial needs. Sleep peacefully now, like rune carvers in Norse settlements long ago, knowing that careful craftsmanship and cultural knowledge can create lasting monuments that preserve important information while honoring ancestral traditions and heroic memory. The master perfumer, creator of sacred scents. Picture yourself in the royal gardens of Ctesiphon, where master perfumer Darius Sassani distills rare essences from flowers that bloom once each year, while the Sassanian court seeks fragrances worthy of divine kings whose earthly rule mirrors celestial harmony through luxury and refinement that demonstrates Persian cultural superiority. The perfume workshop occupies chambers within the palace complex, where precious aromatic materials from throughout the Persian Empire undergo transformation into liquid luxury that serves both personal adornment and religious ceremonies, while generating diplomatic gifts that establish Persian cultural influence throughout the known world. Master Darius represents centuries of Persian perfumery tradition that combines practical knowledge of distillation with artistic understanding of scent harmonies that create complex fragrances, surpassing simple flower waters through sophisticated blending techniques and rare materials available only through imperial resources. Young apprentice Homeist studies aromatic plants while learning to recognize quality indicators and seasonal variations that affect essential oil production through careful observation of natural cycles and processing techniques that determine final fragrance characteristics and commercial value. scent carries divine essence, Darius explains, while examining rose petals. Each fragrance connects earthly beauty with heavenly perfection, while we serve as instruments creating liquid poetry that enhances human dignity and demonstrates Persian mastery over nature's gifts. The current royal commission requires creating a signature fragrance for Queen Purandakt that will establish her unique scent identity while incorporating symbolic elements representing her virtues and royal status through aromatic combinations that honor both personal preferences and ceremonial requirements. Hormizd learns that Persian perfumery begins with understanding aromatic materials and their characteristics, while recognizing that successful fragrance creation requires both technical knowledge of distillation and artistic sensitivity to scent. Harmonies that create pleasing and memorable combinations. Raw material acquisition involves trading networks extending throughout the Persian Empire and beyond, where precious aromatics, including ambergris, musk, and rare flower essences reach Ctesiphon through commercial relationships that supply luxury materials unavailable locally. Distillation techniques utilize sophisticated equipment, including glass vessels and controlled heating that enable extraction of essential oils, while preserving delicate aromatic compounds that create superior fragrances through precise temperature management and timing throughout extraction processes. Blending methods combine individual essences in precise proportions that create complex harmonies, while achieving desired effects ranging from light floral waters through heavy, ceremonial incenses that serve different purposes according to social context and personal preferences. Quality assessment requires developing olfactory sensitivity that enables recognition of fragrance characteristics and evaluation of blend success, while understanding how different components interact to create final aromatic impressions that satisfy demanding royal standards. Aging procedures allow fragrances to develop complexity while enabling aromatic marriage between different components that creates mature perfumes with depth and sophistication that distinguish Persian luxury products from simpler foreign fragrances. Packaging utilizes precious containers, including crystal vessels and silver bottles that preserve fragrance quality while demonstrating Persian artistic achievement through decorative objects that enhance luxury appeal and serve as diplomatic gifts, representing imperial magnificence. Cultural applications include religious ceremonies where specific fragrances enhance spiritual experience, while personal usage demonstrates social status and cultural refinement through participation in Persian luxury traditions that distinguish imperial court culture. Diplomatic functions utilize fragrance gifts that establish cultural connections, while demonstrating Persian wealth and sophistication to foreign courts, seeking alliance or trade relationships with the Sasanian Empire through exchange of luxury goods and cultural products. Medical applications recognize therapeutic properties of aromatic substances, while incorporating perfumery knowledge into health maintenance and treatment of ailments through traditional Persian medicine that utilizes natural aromatics for healing purposes. Seasonal production coordinates with natural cycles affecting aromatic plant availability, while planning fragrance creation according to ceremonial calendars and court requirements that influence demand for specific types of perfumes throughout the Persian year. Innovation includes experimentation with new aromatic combinations while maintaining traditional characteristics that define Persian perfumery and ensure continued recognition of Sasanian luxury products as superior to foreign attempts at fragrance creation. Cultural preservation includes training future perfumers while documenting aromatic knowledge and preparation techniques that will preserve Persian perfumery traditions through political changes and cultural transitions affecting the Sasanian Empire. Trade relationships enable distribution of Persian fragrances throughout the known world, while establishing commercial networks that generate revenue supporting imperial activities and demonstrate Persian cultural influence through luxury export products. As evening incense drifts through palace chambers, Master Darius and Hormizd complete their fragrance preparations, while creating scents that will enhance Persian court life and demonstrate imperial magnificence through aromatic luxury. Let these images of perfume creation carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the delicate process of distillation and the satisfaction of creating fragrances that enhance human dignity while preserving Persian cultural traditions through aromatic artistry. Sleep peacefully now, like perfumers in Persian palaces long ago, knowing that patient skill and artistic sensitivity can transform natural aromatics into luxury products that demonstrate cultural achievement while serving human needs for beauty and refinement. The master bridge builder, connector of distant shores. Picture yourself along the Danube frontier, where master engineer Marcus Apollodorus designs stone bridges that will carry Roman legions across barbarian rivers, while mathematical precision combines with engineering innovation to create permanent crossings that extend imperial control throughout conquered territories, seeking Roman civilization and administrative order. The engineering camp extends along the riverbank, where skilled craftsmen and military engineers collaborate to construct monumental bridges serving both strategic and symbolic purposes, while demonstrating Roman technological superiority and commitment to permanent occupation of frontier territories. Master Marcus represents the culmination of Roman engineering tradition that combines practical construction knowledge with mathematical theory, enabling creation of structures that surpass all previous achievements in scale, durability, and technical sophistication, serving imperial expansion and administrative consolidation. Young apprentice Gaius Vitruvius studies architectural principles while learning to calculate stress loads and foundation requirements that enable bridge construction across diverse geographic conditions, requiring adaptive engineering solutions and innovative construction techniques. Bridges unite divided lands, Marcus explains, while reviewing foundation plans. We connect distant shores while extending Roman law and civilization throughout barbarian territories that will benefit from imperial peace and administrative efficiency through permanent infrastructure development. The current project involves spanning the Danube with a massive stone bridge that will enable rapid troop movement while establishing permanent Roman presence in Dacia through engineering achievement that demonstrates imperial capability and commitment to frontier defense and territorial integration. Gaius learns that Roman bridge building begins with careful site survey and geological assessment while understanding hydraulic engineering principles that govern foundation design and structural requirements for spans, crossing major rivers under challenging environmental conditions. Foundation construction requires understanding of underwater building techniques and cofferdam technology that enables work below water level while creating stable supports capable of bearing enormous structural loads. Throughout centuries of use and seasonal flooding, arch construction utilizes mathematical principles governing weight distribution and structural stability while creating graceful spans that combine engineering efficiency with aesthetic appeal appropriate to monuments, serving imperial prestige and practical transportation needs. Material logistics coordinate transportation of massive stone blocks while organizing labor forces that include military engineers, civilian craftsmen, and local populations pressed into service for imperial construction projects, requiring coordinated effort and systematic resource management. Quality control ensures structural integrity through systematic testing and inspection procedures that verify construction standards, while maintaining reputation for Roman engineering excellence that justifies confidence in imperial infrastructure and technological capabilities. Strategic applications include military transportation and supply line protection, while establishing permanent imperial presence that enables territorial control and cultural assimilation throughout frontier regions, seeking integration into Roman administrative and economic systems. Cultural impact extends beyond practical transportation to include symbolic demonstration of Roman power and technological achievement that impresses barbarian populations, while encouraging acceptance of imperial rule and cultural adoption of Roman civilization. Economic benefits include improved trade routes and commercial transportation that generate revenue supporting imperial activities, while creating employment, opportunities, and economic development throughout frontier territories, benefiting from Roman infrastructure investment. International recognition establishes Roman engineering reputation while creating diplomatic opportunities. Through demonstration of technological capabilities that impress foreign powers seeking alliance or trade. Relationships with the Roman Empire through infrastructure cooperation. Innovation drives continuous advancement in construction techniques while preserving proven methods that ensure structural reliability and maintain Roman engineering standards that distinguish imperial projects from inferior foreign construction lacking comparable technical sophistication. Environmental adaptation includes engineering solutions for diverse geographic conditions, while developing construction techniques that accommodate local materials and climate conditions. Throughout varied terrain, requiring flexible approaches to bridge-building challenges. Educational programs preserve engineering knowledge while training future builders who will continue Roman infrastructure development throughout the empire and beyond, where engineering expertise serves both military and civilian purposes. Legacy. Planning ensures continuity of engineering knowledge through documentation and training that will preserve Roman construction techniques while enabling continued infrastructure development, serving imperial expansion and administrative consolidation. As sunset illuminates the completed bridge sections, Master Marcus and Gaius review construction progress while planning tomorrow's activities that will advance the project toward completion, serving Roman strategic objectives and engineering excellence. Let these images of bridge construction carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the precise placement of massive stones and the satisfaction of creating permanent connections that serve both practical transportation and symbolic demonstration of engineering achievement. Sleep peacefully now, like engineers in Roman camps long ago, knowing that systematic planning and technical excellence can create infrastructure that unites distant territories, while demonstrating human capability to overcome geographic barriers through engineering innovation. The Master Jade Carver, sculptor of imperial dreams. Picture yourself in the imperial workshops of Chang'an, where Master Jade Carver Wei Mingshan transforms precious nephrite into objects of supernatural beauty that will adorn the mandate of heaven, while traditional techniques passed through generations create ceremonial treasures that connect earthly emperors with cosmic forces governing the Middle Kingdom. The Jade Workshop occupies sacred chambers within the palace complex where skilled artisans work with materials more valuable than gold while creating objects that serve both decorative and ritual purposes. Through artistic achievement that demonstrates Chinese cultural superiority and imperial magnificence. Master Wei represents the pinnacle of Chinese lapidary tradition that combines technical mastery with spiritual understanding of jade's sacred properties, while creating objects that embody Confucian virtues and Taoist harmony through artistic excellence, serving imperial authority and cosmic order. Young apprentice Li Shanming studies jade characteristics while learning to recognize quality variations and working properties that determine appropriate uses for different types of nephrite, requiring specific carving techniques and artistic approaches according to material characteristics and intended purposes. Jade embodies heaven's virtue, Wei explains while examining raw stones. Each piece carries celestial essence, while we serve as instruments revealing divine beauty hidden within earthly materials through patient skill and spiritual understanding of cosmic harmony. The current Imperial Commission requires creating ceremonial scepter for Emperor Domitian's diplomatic reception, while incorporating symbolic elements representing Chinese cultural achievement and imperial authority through artistic excellence that will impress foreign ambassadors and demonstrate dynastic legitimacy. Li learns that Chinese jade carving begins with understanding mineral properties and spiritual significance, while recognizing that successful artistry requires both technical skill and philosophical knowledge that guides artistic decisions and ensures appropriate symbolic content. Stone selection requires expertise in evaluating jade quality and characteristics, while understanding how different varieties provide materials suited for various artistic applications, requiring specific working properties and aesthetic qualities appropriate to intended ceremonial purposes. Cutting techniques utilize traditional tools, including bronze saws and abrasive powders that enable precise shaping of extremely hard materials, while maintaining control over artistic development and preventing damage to valuable raw materials during extended carving processes. Polishing procedures create mirror surfaces that reveal jade's inner beauty, while demonstrating carver skill through finish quality that distinguishes imperial objects from inferior products lacking appropriate technical excellence and artistic refinement. Symbolic programs incorporate traditional iconography that communicates specific meanings through visual elements, including dragons representing imperial power, phoenixes symbolizing imperial consorts, and geometric patterns reflecting cosmic harmony and natural order. Religious applications include ceremonial objects, serving ancestral worship and state rituals, while creating sacred implements that enable proper communication between earthly rulers and celestial powers, governing dynastic authority and cosmic harmony. Artistic standards maintain traditional aesthetic principles while enabling innovation that advances carving techniques without abandoning established conventions that define Chinese jade artistry and ensure continued recognition of imperial artistic achievement. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional carving methods while training future artisans who will continue jade traditions, serving essential roles in Chinese imperial culture and religious observance throughout dynastic changes and political transitions. Quality control ensures that finished objects meet demanding imperial standards through systematic inspection procedures that verify both technical excellence and symbolic appropriateness for ceremonial use in court contexts where imperfection could compromise imperial dignity. Trade relationships enable acquisition of finest jade materials while establishing commercial networks that supply workshops with premium nephrite, unavailable locally but essential for creating objects worthy of imperial use and diplomatic presentation. Diplomatic applications include jade gifts that establish cultural connections while demonstrating Chinese artistic achievement and imperial wealth to foreign courts seeking alliance or trade relationships. Through exchange of luxury goods representing cultural sophistication, seasonal production cycles coordinate carving activities with court calendar requirements while adapting to natural light conditions that affect detailed work requiring optimal illumination and careful attention to artistic development throughout extended carving processes. Innovation includes experimentation with new carving techniques while maintaining traditional characteristics that define Chinese jade artistry and ensure continued recognition of imperial objects as superior to foreign products, lacking comparable artistic achievement. Economic considerations balance material costs against cultural and political benefits while ensuring adequate compensation for skilled artisans, whose expertise represents substantial cultural capital benefiting Chinese society. Through superior ceremonial objects and cultural preservation, as evening settles over the imperial city, Master Wei and Li complete their daily offerings to the Jade Emperor while securing precious materials against damage that could compromise tomorrow's continuation of sacred work, serving imperial glory. Let these images of jade carving carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the patient shaping of precious stone and the satisfaction of creating objects that embody cosmic harmony while serving imperial authority through traditional artistic excellence. Sleep peacefully now, like jade carvers in Chinese palaces long ago, knowing that dedicated skill and spiritual understanding can transform earthly materials into celestial treasures that preserve cultural heritage while serving divine authority. The master shipwright, builder of Viking longships. Picture yourself along the misty fjords of western Norway, where master shipwright Olaf Bjornsson shapes oak timbers into dragon-headed longships that will carry Norse warriors across unknown, seas, while traditional boat-building knowledge combines with innovative design to create vessels that enable Viking expansion throughout the North Atlantic world. The shipyard occupies a protected bay where skilled craftsmen work with naturally curved timber that provides optimal strength and flexibility for vessels that must survive Atlantic storms while remaining light enough for overland portage between river systems during inland raids and trading expeditions. Master Olaf represents generations of Norse shipbuilding expertise that combines practical knowledge of wood and water with understanding of sailing requirements that enable creation of vessels surpassing all contemporary designs in speed, sea, and versatility, serving both military and commercial purposes. Young apprentice Harold Eriksson studies timber selection while learning to read wood grain patterns that determine strength, characteristics, and appropriate uses for different ship components, requiring specific properties that contribute to overall vessel performance and durability. Ships carry our destiny, Olaf explains while shaping planks. Each vessel enables exploration of unknown waters, while extending Norse influence throughout distant lands that offer opportunities for those bold enough to challenge the sea's dangers through superior seamanship and ship design. The current project involves building warship for Jarl Magnus, who plans leading raids along English coasts, while establishing Norse settlements that will serve as bases for further expansion throughout the British Isles, requiring vessels capable of both military action and colonization support. Harold learns that Norse shipbuilding begins with forest expeditions that identify trees with optimal growth patterns for specific ship components, while understanding how natural wood characteristics affect vessel performance and construction. Techniques required for different types of maritime operations. Timber preparation includes seasoning procedures that stabilize wood moisture content while preventing cracking and warping that could compromise structural integrity during vessel construction and subsequent maritime service throughout demanding North Atlantic conditions. Keel laying represents ceremonial beginning of ship construction, when massive central timber receives placement, with religious rituals that invoke divine protection for vessel and crew, while ensuring favorable winds and successful voyages through proper observance of traditional customs. Hull construction utilizes overlapping plank techniques that create strong, flexible shells capable of withstanding severe stress while maintaining watertight integrity throughout ocean crossings and beach landings in hostile territory, where vessel survival determines expedition success. Rigging installation transforms completed hulls into functional sailing vessels through careful placement of masts and cordage that enable efficient wind utilization, while providing backup rowing capability when weather conditions prevent effective sailing or tactical situations require precise maneuvering. Dragonhead carving serves both practical and spiritual purposes as protective symbols that ward off sea monsters, while identifying vessels to distant observers who can recognize specific ships and crews through distinctive artistic elements reflecting builder skill and owner status. Testing procedures verify seaworthiness through trials in protected waters before vessels receive approval for ocean voyages. That stake crew lives on construction quality and design effectiveness. During encounters with storms and navigational challenges, military applications include weapon storage and crew accommodation, modifications that enable extended campaigns while maintaining fighting effectiveness during surprise attacks on unprepared targets throughout the expanding Norse sphere of influence. Trading configurations optimize cargo capacity while preserving defensive capabilities necessary for merchant voyages through potentially hostile waters where pirates and foreign navies threaten valuable cargo loads, justifying dangerous journeys toward profitable distant markets. Cultural significance extends beyond practical transportation, as longships represent Norse identity and technological achievement that enables expansion throughout the North Atlantic, while demonstrating cultural superiority to foreign civilizations lacking comparable naval capabilities. Innovation drives continuous improvement in ship design through experimentation with hull configurations and construction techniques that might enhance speed or cargo capacity, while maintaining essential characteristics that make Norse ships superior to foreign vessels. International influence spreads Norse shipbuilding techniques through conquest and trade relationships that expose foreign shipwrights to superior Norse methods while establishing shipyards in conquered territories, extending Norse maritime capabilities. Quality assurance includes systematic inspection of construction elements, while maintaining standards that ensure vessel reliability during demanding maritime operations, where failures could result in crew loss and mission failure, affecting Norse expansion and prosperity. Environmental adaptation includes design features that optimize performance in North Atlantic conditions, while enabling operation in diverse maritime environments, from Arctic ice fields through temperate coastal waters to Mediterranean trading ports. As autumn storms approach the Norwegian coast, Master Olaf and Harald complete final preparations on vessels that will soon carry Norse crews toward distant shores where glory and treasure await those bold enough to challenge foreign powers. Let these images of Norse shipbuilding carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the rhythmic sound of construction and the satisfaction of creating vessels that enable exploration of vast oceans. Toward unknown lands, offering adventure and opportunity. Sleep peacefully now, like shipwrights in Norse yards long ago, knowing that superior craftsmanship and innovative design can create vessels that conquer distance and weather while enabling human expansion across seemingly impossible barriers. The master Silk Road merchant, trader of Eastern treasures. Picture yourself in the bustling bazaars of Samarkand, where master merchant Rustam Sogdianus coordinates caravans that carry Chinese silk and Indian spices across Central Asian deserts, while Sogdian commercial networks connect distant civilizations through trade relationships that generate prosperity and cultural exchange throughout the Silk Road. The trading house occupies prime location near the city center, where warehouses store precious goods, awaiting transport, while administrative offices coordinate complex commercial operations involving multiple currencies, languages, and legal systems throughout the extensive trading networks connecting East and West. Master Rustam represents generations of Sogdian commercial expertise that combines practical knowledge of trade routes with diplomatic skills that enable successful negotiation throughout diverse political territories, requiring cultural sensitivity and business acumen that transcends ethnic and religious boundaries. Young apprentice Darius Bactrian studies market conditions while learning to evaluate commodity quality and calculate exchange rates that determine profitability throughout complex trading operations involving multiple intermediate transactions and currency conversions across vast geographic distances. Trade unites distant peoples, Rustam explains while examining silk samples. We serve as bridges connecting civilizations, while generating prosperity that benefits all participants in commercial relationships that transcend political boundaries and religious differences through mutual economic interest. The current expedition requires organizing eastbound caravan to Chang'an, while coordinating return cargo that will include Chinese luxury goods destined for Byzantine and Persian markets, where Sogdian merchants maintain established relationships and commercial privileges. Darius learns that Silk Road trading begins with understanding political conditions and seasonal factors that affect route safety, while recognizing that successful commerce requires knowledge of local customs and business practices throughout diverse territories with varying legal and cultural traditions. Route planning includes evaluation of political stability and weather conditions, while organizing supplies and security arrangements that enable safe passage through territories controlled by various powers, requiring diplomatic negotiations and tribute payments. Commodity selection requires expertise in evaluating quality and market demand, while understanding how transportation conditions affect goods during extended overland journeys. requiring appropriate packaging and preservation methods that maintain commercial value. Caravan organization coordinates transportation logistics while managing diverse personnel, including guards, guides, and support staff who enable successful completion of trading expeditions. Throughout challenging geographic and political conditions, currency management includes understanding exchange rates and monetary systems, while maintaining adequate reserves for transaction costs and unexpected expenses throughout complex commercial operations involving multiple political jurisdictions and economic systems. Cultural mediation enables successful business relationships throughout diverse territories, while building trust and maintaining reputation that ensures continued access to trading privileges and commercial opportunities in politically sensitive regions. Diplomatic skills include understanding political relationships and maintaining neutrality while conducting business throughout territories experiencing conflicts that could threaten caravan safety and commercial success, requiring careful navigation of political complications. Quality assessment requires expertise in evaluating merchandise and detecting fraud while maintaining standards that preserve reputation for reliability and honesty, essential for long-term commercial success throughout competitive trading networks. Risk management includes understanding threats and implementing security measures while purchasing insurance and maintaining reserves that protect against losses due to theft, natural disasters, or political instability affecting commercial operations. Market analysis guides commodity selection and pricing strategies, while understanding supply and demand factors that determine profitability. Throughout various markets, requiring different approaches and business relationships. Partnership agreements coordinate activities with other merchants while sharing risks and resources that enable larger commercial operations, requiring cooperation between independent traders seeking mutual benefit through collaborative arrangements. Warehouse management includes storage and inventory control while maintaining security and preventing deterioration of goods during extended periods between purchase and sale throughout commercial cycles, requiring careful planning and resource allocation. Documentation includes maintaining records of transactions and legal agreements while ensuring compliance with various legal systems and taxation requirements throughout territories with different administrative practices and commercial regulations. Cultural preservation includes maintaining Sogdian identity and commercial traditions while adapting to changing political conditions and market requirements that affect traditional trading patterns and business relationships throughout Central Asian territories. Innovation includes developing new trading routes and commercial practices, while maintaining established relationships and reputation that ensure continued success in competitive markets, requiring both stability and adaptability as evening settles over Samarkand's markets. Master Rustam and Darius review caravan preparations while finalizing arrangements for tomorrow's departure toward distant Chang'an and the profitable opportunities awaiting successful merchants. Let these images of Silk Road commerce carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the preparation of trading caravans and the satisfaction of connecting distant civilizations through commercial relationships that generate prosperity and cultural exchange. Sleep peacefully now, like merchants in Central Asian trading cities long ago, knowing that business skill and cultural understanding can create commercial networks that unite diverse peoples, while generating prosperity through peaceful exchange and mutual cooperation. The Master Illuminated Gospel Maker, Scribe of Sacred Word. Picture yourself in the windswept monastery of Iona, where Master Scribe Columba McBride creates illuminated gospel books that will preserve Christian teaching throughout Celtic lands, while insular art traditions combine with Latin scholarship to produce manuscripts that demonstrate Irish cultural achievement and religious devotion through exceptional artistic beauty. The scriptorium occupies stone chambers where learned monks copy sacred texts while creating artistic treasures that serve both religious and cultural purposes. Through illuminated manuscripts that preserve Christian doctrine, and Celtic artistic traditions for future generations, seeking spiritual guidance and cultural identity. Master Columba represents the synthesis of Irish artistic tradition with Christian scholarship that creates distinctive insular manuscript styles serving Celtic monasteries throughout Ireland and Scotland, while establishing cultural connections with continental Christianity through shared religious texts and artistic exchange. Young monk Brendan studies Latin grammar while learning calligraphy techniques that enable creation of beautiful letter forms, serving both legibility and artistic purposes. Through careful attention to proportion and spacing that creates visually harmonious text layouts, scripture becomes visible prayer, Columba explains while mixing precious pigments. Each illuminated page reveals divine beauty while preserving God's word for future generations who will read these texts and encounter salvation through artistic beauty that serves spiritual truth. The current project involves creating complete gospel book for the monastery at Kells, while incorporating traditional Celtic artistic elements that celebrate Irish cultural heritage within Christian religious contexts, serving both spiritual education and cultural preservation. Brendan learns that Celtic manuscript production begins with parchment preparation and ink formulation, while understanding that successful illumination requires both technical skill and spiritual preparation that honors the sacred nature of scriptural texts and artistic service. Vellum preparation includes selecting finest sheepskin and processing through traditional methods that create smooth writing surfaces, capable of accepting both ink and paint while providing durable foundations for texts that must survive centuries of liturgical use. Ink formulation utilizes traditional recipes, including oak gall and iron compounds that create permanent black ink, while colored inks incorporate precious materials, including gold and silver, that demonstrate artistic excellence and religious reverence. Calligraphy training develops letter formation skills, while understanding proportional relationships and spacing principles that create readable text layouts, serving both functional and aesthetic purposes through careful attention to visual harmony and legibility. Illumination techniques include initial letter decoration and border design while incorporating traditional Celtic motifs, including interlaced patterns and animal imagery that connects Christian content with Irish cultural heritage and artistic traditions. Color symbolism utilizes traditional meanings while serving religious purposes, through appropriate color choices that enhance spiritual content and demonstrate understanding of both artistic and theological principles. Governing sacred manuscript production. Layout planning coordinates text and decoration while ensuring balanced page composition that serves both reading requirements and artistic presentation. Through careful integration of textual and visual elements, religious content requires accurate copying of sacred texts, while understanding theological meaning that guides artistic decisions about appropriate imagery and decorative elements that enhance rather than distract from spiritual content. Cultural preservation includes maintaining Celtic artistic traditions while serving Christian religious purposes through synthesis that preserves Irish cultural identity within international Christian community, seeking unified religious expression. Quality standards ensure manuscript durability and artistic excellence, while maintaining reputation for Celtic scribal achievement that attracts patronage and commissions from throughout the Celtic world, seeking superior religious texts. Educational mission includes training future scribes, while preserving Celtic, artistic, and literary traditions through systematic instruction that combines religious education with cultural knowledge, serving both spiritual formation and artistic development. International connections include correspondence with continental monasteries, while maintaining Celtic distinctiveness through artistic and scholarly exchange that enriches local traditions without abandoning cultural identity and religious authenticity. As evening prayer bells call monks to chapel, Master Columba and Brendan complete their illumination work while offering prayers of gratitude for opportunities to serve divine glory through artistic excellence, preserving sacred texts. Let these images of Celtic manuscript creation carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the careful formation of sacred letters and the satisfaction of preserving divine word through artistic beauty, serving both religious devotion and cultural heritage. Sleep peacefully now, like scribes in Irish monasteries long ago, knowing that patient dedication to beauty and truth can create artistic treasures that preserve sacred wisdom while celebrating cultural achievement through religious service. The master mask maker, creator of sacred faces. Picture yourself in the ceremonial workshops of Palenque, where master artisan Kainich Janab creates jade and obsidian masks that will accompany Maya rulers into the afterlife, while sacred geometry combines with supernatural artistry to produce objects that enable deceased kings to communicate with ancestral spirits and cosmic forces governing the Maya universe. The mask workshop occupies sacred chambers within the palace complex, where skilled craftsmen work with precious materials, including jade, obsidian, and shell, while creating burial objects that serve both protective and transformative purposes for royal souls journeying through underworld challenges toward divine rebirth. Master Kainich represents generations of Maya artistic tradition that combines technical mastery with esoteric knowledge of spiritual symbolism while creating objects that embody divine kingship and enables supernatural transformation through artistic excellence serving religious and political purposes. Young apprentice Itzamna studies hieroglyphic texts while learning to carve symbolic elements that communicate specific spiritual meanings through visual iconography that must conform to established religious conventions while demonstrating artistic skill and theological understanding. Masks transform earthly faces into divine visages, Kainich explains, while shaping jade pieces. Each sacred object enables royal souls to assume supernatural identity while journeying through death toward rebirth among celestial powers governing cosmic order and natural harmony. The current commission involves creating burial mask for recently deceased King Pakal, while incorporating symbolic elements representing his divine status and spiritual journey through artistic excellence that demonstrates Maya cultural achievement and religious sophistication. Itzamna learns that Maya mask making begins with understanding religious symbolism and royal iconography, while recognizing that successful artistry requires both technical skill and esoteric knowledge that guides artistic decisions and ensures appropriate spiritual content. Material preparation includes selecting finest jade and obsidian, while understanding how different stones provide materials suited for various artistic applications, requiring specific working properties and symbolic meanings appropriate to intended spiritual purposes. Carving techniques utilize traditional tools, including flint blades and abrasive materials that enable precise shaping of extremely hard stones, while maintaining control over artistic development and preventing damage to valuable materials during extended production processes. Mosaic assembly requires understanding of proportional relationships and color harmonies, while creating composite faces that represent idealized divine kingship through artistic synthesis of multiple materials, serving both aesthetic and spiritual purposes. Symbolic programs incorporate traditional iconography, including solar imagery representing divine kingship, jaguar elements symbolizing underworld power, and geometric patterns reflecting cosmic structure and mathematical harmony governing Maya understanding of universal order. Religious applications include burial ceremonies, where masks enable royal transformation while serving protective functions during soul journeys through underworld trials, requiring supernatural assistance and divine intervention for successful rebirth. Artistic standards maintain traditional aesthetic principles while enabling innovation that advances carving techniques without abandoning established conventions that define Maya royal artistry and ensure continued recognition of divine kingship. Cultural preservation includes maintaining traditional mask-making methods while training future artisans who will continue Maya traditions, serving essential roles in royal funeral ceremonies and religious observances throughout dynastic succession. Quality control ensures that finished masks meet demanding royal standards through systematic inspection procedures that verify both technical excellence and symbolic appropriateness for ceremonial use in sacred contexts where imperfection could compromise spiritual effectiveness. Trade relationships enable acquisition of precious materials, while establishing commercial networks that supply workshops with jade, obsidian, and shell unavailable locally, but essential for creating objects worthy of royal burial and divine transformation. Astronomical correlations include timing production activities according to celestial events while incorporating astronomical symbolism that connects royal masks with cosmic cycles and divine powers governing Maya calendar and religious observances. Dynastic traditions establish appropriate iconographic elements for different royal lineages, while maintaining consistency in divine symbolism that legitimizes political authority through connections with ancestral spirits and supernatural powers. Burial ceremonies utilize completed masks according to established protocols, while enabling royal transformation through ritual procedures that ensure successful soul journey and divine rebirth, serving both individual salvation and dynastic continuity. Innovation includes experimentation with new artistic techniques while maintaining traditional characteristics that define Maya royal artistry and ensure continued recognition of divine kingship through appropriate symbolic content and artistic excellence. Economic considerations balance material costs against cultural and political benefits, while ensuring adequate compensation for skilled artisans, whose expertise represents substantial cultural capital, benefiting Maya society through superior ceremonial objects. As evening settles over Palenque's ceremonial center, Master Kanich and Itzamna complete their daily offerings to the jaguar god while securing precious materials against damage that could compromise sacred work, serving royal glory. Let these images of Maya mask creation carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the careful carving of precious jade and the satisfaction of creating objects that enable divine transformation while preserving royal heritage through artistic excellence. Sleep peacefully now, like mask makers in Maya palaces long ago, knowing that dedicated skill and spiritual understanding can transform earthly materials into sacred treasures that serve divine kingship while preserving cultural traditions through religious artistry. The Master Sword Polisher, perfecter of steel souls. Picture yourself in the sacred workshop of Kyoto, where Master Polisher Fujiwara no Yasumasa transforms rough sword blades into mirrors of perfection that reveal the soul within steel, while ancient techniques passed through generations of craftsmen create weapons that embody both martial effectiveness and spiritual beauty, serving samurai ideals of honor and aesthetic refinement. The polishing workshop occupies quiet chambers where skilled artisans spend months perfecting individual blades, while understanding that sword polishing represents spiritual practice as much as technical craft through patient attention to detail and reverent treatment of weapons that will serve noble warriors. Master Yasumasa represents the culmination of Japanese sword polishing tradition that combines technical mastery with aesthetic sensitivity, while understanding that successful polishing reveals rather than creates blade beauty through careful removal of surface layers that obscure underlying steel patterns and spiritual essence. Young apprentice Minamoto no Yoshitsune studies waterstone gradations while learning to recognize steel characteristics and polishing requirements that determine appropriate techniques for different blade types, requiring specific approaches according to smith origin and intended martial application. Polishing awakens sleeping beauty, Yasumasa explains, while working a fine stone. Each blade contains hidden perfection that patient work reveals, while we serve as spiritual guides, helping steel achieve its destined form through respectful partnership between human skill and metal essence. The current commission involves polishing ancient blade for Emperor Gosher, while restoring original beauty that will demonstrate imperial weapons, divine nature, and spiritual power through artistic excellence that honors both imperial authority and samurai martial traditions. Yoshitsune learns that Japanese sword polishing begins with understanding blade, construction, and metallurgical characteristics, while recognizing that successful work requires both technical knowledge and spiritual preparation that honors relationships between polisher, weapon, and intended warrior user. Stone selection requires expertise in evaluating abrasive characteristics while understanding how different stones affect steel surfaces throughout progressive polishing stages that gradually reveal blade beauty through systematic removal of increasingly fine surface layers. Water management includes understanding temperature and flow requirements, while maintaining optimal polishing conditions that prevent overheating and ensure proper stone function throughout extended sessions, requiring sustained concentration and precise technique. Angle control utilizes traditional hand positions while maintaining consistent blade contact that creates even surface development without stress concentrations that could damage delicate steel structures or compromise visual harmony. Surface development includes understanding steel grain patterns, while working to reveal natural beauty through polishing techniques that emphasize blade characteristics and demonstrate smith artistry through careful surface preparation and finishing. Spiritual preparation includes purification rituals, while maintaining reverent attitude toward weapons that serve noble purposes through recognition that sword polishing represents sacred work requiring appropriate mental state and ceremonial observance. Quality assessment requires developing visual sensitivity, while understanding blade characteristics and recognizing when polishing achieves optimal results that balance surface perfection with preservation of original smith intentions and metallurgical properties. Traditional techniques preserve historical polishing methods while maintaining connections with spiritual traditions that view swordwork as meditation and character development through patient practice of demanding technical skills, serving martial and aesthetic purposes. Cultural significance extends beyond practical weapon maintenance to include aesthetic appreciation and spiritual development through participation in traditional crafts that embody Japanese values and connect contemporary artisans with historical martial traditions. Artistic standards maintain traditional aesthetic principles while enabling individual expression that advances polishing techniques without abandoning established conventions that define Japanese sword appreciation and samurai aesthetic values. Religious observances honor Shinto kami while incorporating Buddhist principles that govern polishing activities through recognition that weapons serve honorable purposes and deserve respectful treatment according to spiritual understanding of material and martial relationships. Educational mission includes training future polishers while preserving traditional knowledge that will continue Japanese sword culture and serve samurai requirements throughout changing political conditions and social developments affecting warrior class needs. Seasonal activities adapt polishing work to natural cycles while coordinating with sword production and martial training that require finished weapons according to specific timing and quality requirements, serving various samurai purposes. Innovation includes developing new polishing techniques while maintaining traditional characteristics that preserve spiritual effectiveness and aesthetic authenticity of weapons, serving established functions within conservative martial traditions, emphasizing honor and beauty. Economic considerations balance material costs and labor investment while ensuring adequate compensation for skilled polishers, whose expertise represents cultural capital benefiting Japanese society through superior weapons and cultural preservation, serving martial heritage. As moonlight illuminates finished blades, reflecting perfect surface polish, Master Yasumasa and Yoshitsune complete their daily purification rituals, while preparing workspace for tomorrow's continuation of sacred work serving samurai ideals. Let these images of sword polishing carry you toward peaceful rest, imagining the patient development of mirror surfaces and the satisfaction of revealing steel beauty through traditional craftsmanship, serving martial excellence in spiritual refinement. Sleep peacefully now, like sword polishers in Japanese workshops long ago, knowing that patient dedication and spiritual reverence can transform metal surfaces into mirrors of perfection that serve both martial effectiveness and aesthetic beauty through traditional excellence.